Seattle University Theater is a little bit different than other programs in that it really tries to educate you as not only the whole person, but as the whole artist. Not only are you going to get the opportunity to act, but you'll get the opportunity to take part in a multitude of technical disciplines, lighting, scenic, costumes, props, as well as stage management, work backstage. So it really prepares you for being a theater artist and going and exploring that in whatever way you want to as a student.
We, although we are a fairly small program, do 3 sort of major shows per year, which is quite a few actually, considering the degree to which we really put the polish of scenic design, costume design, directing, a thorough rehearsal period. We really concentrate on making this really nice production every quarter.
Everybody in the program can work as much as they want and get as much experience as they want, and very sort of individualized, kind of specialized instruction. If you're interested in doing something, we're going to probably be able to help you find out how to do it and work with you individually like that.
In a BA, you have the ability on a campus to take a selection of classes that are outside of the art making. You are growing as a person because you're learning so much about the world. As an artist, I think that as I learn about the world, I bring that inherently into my art. If I don't know these things, then I can't access them. But if I'm learning about them inside of these other classrooms, if I'm engaging with students who have nothing to do with my major or with art making, then I'm learning about the human experience through them, and I'm bringing those things into my theater work.
Seattle U theater community does a really good job of making sure everyone tries everything. Like, they make sure that you have access to all the realms of theater, not just acting or not just production.
I think it's really valuable for students to be able to sample when they're in college. It's one of the best things about college and university programs, to try a little of this, try a little of that. You never know when you might find something that you had never tried before but really enjoy.
You can be more than one type of artist. That's encouraged, and people will help you do that.
I've always enjoyed the fact that, like, the person who might be my lead carpenter or who might be the production electrician ends up also being the lead in the show.
There's a big push for the theater students to be well-rounded, I think. And there's so many opportunities, and it's so easy, I think, to find those opportunities, whether it be through word of mouth from students or talking to a professor in class, being like, hey, I'm wanting to participate in this, what can I do? And it's just very easy, and I would say that's a pretty streamlined aspect of our department, which is great.
Somebody will be like, hey, like we need more hands-on doing this, or we'd like to give you an opportunity to learn how to do this, and then you kind of end up falling into something a little bit. And I think it's really cool because it gives you an opportunity to be a bit of a jack of all trades, and I think that's really valuable. Especially in an industry that is so built on people just, I think, having multiple skills and being able to do multiple things and do them well.
I feel that with larger schools, especially in drama or theater departments, it's really difficult for students, especially like lower-classmen, to get the hands-on experience that we get. And just because they always need people and there's always a spot for everybody.
I think you joined the theater program because you put together a show and everything that goes along with that. You make something with other people, and through that you discover who you are and what your strengths are, what you can contribute, the nature of making something that can be lasting.
Theater is, to me, like, so inherently collaborative. That's one of the most important things about theater, and you can't, like, forget about the other parts and the other people. And I think that even if you take a design class as someone who's primarily into acting or vice versa, it helps you be creative in what you want to do because you're being forced to think outside the box and try new things, and that will help you when you're back in what you want to do. And it also helps you be a better member of a production team to everybody else who's there because you've got this, like, awareness, and I think that's a really great and special thing to have.
It's really about meeting the student where they are and just pushing them out of that comfort zone a little bit, right? It's not about throwing you into the fire without any guidance, but it is about saying, hey, this is gonna be hard, but I'm here for you, and we're gonna get through this together.
One of the most important things they can learn as they're training is how to be successful. a lot of that is on them. They have to take the reins and take control.
And if you put in that effort, they will just go above and beyond, frankly, what would be expected of a normal professor to like mentor you and get to know you and really just bring out the best in the experience.
Whatever you are, if you're a carpenter, if you're a draper, if you're a stage manager, if you're a performer, I treat you like you are that, and you are a professional version of that.
It's never ever been a case where it's just like I'm standing here watching the adults do their job over here. It's always been like okay, this is a demonstration of how it's done, you give it a shot. And I cannot think of a single instance in which it was not encouraged that us students give the task at hand a chance.
I very often will treat a student as if I know that they know what they're doing and give them the responsibility. And sometimes they succeed amazingly, and sometimes they fail, and then they learn from their failures. And that student's experience, making a mistake once in a while, and then realizing it, because that's when you learn.
There's always success. Even when you feel you failed, there's always success. And I always tell the students, dare to fail and then learn to fail better.
It's great because there's also a sense of, even if some kind of hands-on learning that I'm doing feels like a lot, I can go to someone and say that it feels like a lot, and I don't feel overwhelmed in a way that isn't pushing me to do something better.
People want to be good. People want to be better. People want to improve. And they're willing to do what it takes to do so.
One of the best avenues to success is our ability to be clear communicators. And I feel that any class where you stand up in front of people in real time and communicate what you're thinking and feeling about subjects is vital for success. The ability to concentrate, the ability to access physical ease in their bodies and voices. In any job, eventually, where you'll have to communicate.
As a professor in a program, I need to see the students and know what it is that those individual students need in any given year. If I bring in a play or a musical that doesn't keep those students in mind or isn't for the current body of students, then I haven't done those students justice. So what we do is really dependent on who we're serving in any given year. And right now, we're working on a play that I really think serves our community. We have a lot of really strong female identifying students or people who can play female identifying characters. And so doing a play with 6 really strong female identifying characters in them, I think is doing us a service in really getting us grounded and knowing what it is that we need.
One of the things that I really like about the community is that the students help each other out. They're there for each other. They seem like they're friends with each other. They look at each other's work. They're critical in the best way. They offer a nice eye on what's working, what could use a hand here and there. There's not that sense of sort of competitiveness, that sense of if not me, then them.
Theater is notorious for being kind of cutthroat and kind of mean, and at SU Theater I don't really feel that. I feel like at the end of the day, everybody's just trying to help everybody.
It's one of those communities in which I feel like by looking at it you can grasp what community means, because it really is a place where so many people connect as human beings, artistically and also interpersonally.
It's where I formed my closest connections on campus, I would say, for sure. I think there's just really a sense of camaraderie within the department, between professors and students, and very familial too. I think there's a sense of us being a family and us wanting to work together in tandem.
Here, I can look each one of my students in the eye, know their name, understand who they are, and also wave to them on the street, right? It's a really beautiful sense of community in the larger Seattle University that way, yeah.
I am so just impressed and grateful, I think, with how kind and gentle, but also gentle, but like not in like a weak sense of like people are very strong and they care a lot about what is happening here and like the production that's being put on or the project that we're working on. Like everybody cares a lot about what's happening, and because of that, like when you enter a rehearsal space or work on a random day or whatever, everybody's there with a purpose, and it's very clear that they're there to like help and support you.
Experience in theater can oftentimes like make more empathetic people and people who are more community oriented, since theater is something that really hinges on like a strong ensemble, not only the people who are on stage but the people who are behind it.
It's training of the whole person. Where else can you find an art form that trains your whole body? Athletes can. Actors can too.
Whether you're working in the shop or just with tech or like acting and performance, I think there's always something that can be applied to your life even outside of theater. So for instance, like learning how to act, public speaking, and just learning how to be confident in yourself and embody that confidence physically. And then, for instance, like when I was working in the shop, I've learned so many things about carpentry.
It always jazzes me when I see a student get it and they go, oh, this is what it's all about, or this is how that music can affect the emotional quality of the play, or oh, if I put this sound effect here and I put it in that speaker over there, just sort of the recognition of how what we do and how what my craft as sound design does can really bring a play to life.
I always learn a lot from my students. And I've had many, many moments of taking a student through a process where they begin to discover their potential. And I think that's what our job is I always say my job is to help you be successful.
Part of the great thing about being in Seattle is we're just right next to a really good theater town that has professional theater happening. We invite people in who are part of that profession to work with us, to teach and to direct and everything. And we also can have students go and intern. You know, one of my students is interning at the Rep right now as a painter. So they have the opportunity to like understand what it would be like to be in theater and to work in theater, and are treated like that right off the bat. And if they wish to, and they move into the profession, that they'll know what the profession is like because they've experienced it here.
You are stepping outside of the buildings on our campus into a city that has so much to offer.
Because we are also working professionals, not just professors, we have those connections that can continue through alumni even after you leave. So we try to stay very well connected to our alumni and make sure that they're succeeding out in the world.
Because all the professors have professional jobs as well as teaching, they are really determined to help you find those connections, find those jobs post-grad, which is just so cool. Like they, again, because it's so small, they can one-on-one like help each person be like, they recommend this, or they could get you in touch with so-and-so.
Even if I'm not in Seattle anymore, they're just an email away of like, hey, I'm having this experience in the real world, like, can we like talk about it? Or, and I think that comes with the small department and the close connections that you form. And personally, I think that my communication skills have greatly improved with learning how to both advocate for myself and also how to navigate like professional situations where you have to like communicate well.
Those experiences, being in the room and the theater, is something that you can't find it in a lecture class. It's really important that actually the theater space is our lab. This is where the most important work happens.
I was like, come and see one of our shows. Come and see one of our shows. You'll realize what kind of an experience you can get. Our theater is small, it's intimate, and we do work here that is on the level of professional theaters in town, and a lot of folks say that.
Come visit us.
There is something human about SU theater, where they're not just seeing you as like an actor or crew member, like just, you know, a cog in the machine of this production. They're seeing you as a person, as a student who's there ultimately to learn.
This place is pretty special.
There's a place for you, for sure. People are so committed to making that happen that you could find a place for you in this department.